I used to need an alarm to wake me up. I feel absolutely nowhere near ready to face the day, but I had to. I had to go to work. So coffee, and more coffee, and then breakfast. Breakfast consisted of many things. For a time it was cereal, and Kellogg's Crave was my poison. A box of this stuff is supposed to last for over 10 days, but for me, it was more like 3. For a good chunk of time, breakfast became sausage baps. A corner shop opposite where we live sold them for £1, so I get 2 or 3 of them. Then came the pizza phase. Pizza for breakfast. The shop also sold these half baguette slices with tomato sauce, cheese and pepperoni on. For breakfast, why not? But that wasn't enough. I had to have more, so I started buying an entire baguette, the tomato puree and a block of cheese, and I made my own at home, and I made them bigger. More bread, more cheese, more energy. This was the cycle that I managed to break. I somehow managed to go from that existence to one where I seldom even eat breakfast or need it anymore, but I still love black coffee. I thought that breakfast gave me the energy I needed to get through the day, but I always found myself needing constant little top-ups, snacks and more caffeine. Breakfast became bigger and so did I. It was a cycle I became determined to break, and I did. And this is how. The first thing I should say about this is that when I started on this health journey, I didn't actually set out to give myself more energy. It just kind of happened by itself. It just became a symptom of the habit changes that I made. I didn't go on a diet. I simply changed my diet. I went from ultra processed food to ultra tasty, healthy, nourishing food. It took a while to get used to. I literally didn't eat a vegetable for over 20 years. And I slipped up many times in the course of changing my diet. But with that switch came changes in how I felt. At first, I felt like death. I was breaking the food habits of a lifetime. I was addicted to the food and knew that hardship would come, and it really did. But a few weeks later, and the dark clouds lifted, and I started feeling the benefits. If I'd given into those horrible feelings, those cravings for more sugar and junk food, I would have maintained my cycle of temporary pick-me-ups that never really gave me much energy at all. Instead, I powered through, and because I did, I got this new feeling. A different type of energy, one that wasn't built on huge amounts of sugar and carbs, but energy that was constant throughout the day and didn't seem to want to stop. Energy that came even when I didn't eat food. I went from 10% energy to 80% very quickly, but when I was at that low 10% level, it felt at the time it would be the best I could do. And it wasn't until I actually changed my diet that I realised that the energy I thought was energy was just me running on fumes. It's really hard to go from a lifetime of eating junk food to eating healthy, especially as I was so fussy. But feeling that new sense of energy, which led to so many other feelings as well, like I became more productive, consistent, and generally a better person, feeling those things gives you the motivation to carry on with it. You can feel the results. Switching my food gave me the biggest change in my energy levels by far, but there were other small changes that I made that weren't really intentional either. They just sort of happened by themselves, but they contributed to feeling more alive. A consistent bedtime. Hard for some people, yes, but if you can, do it. I used to scroll on my phone in bed. I'd get all fidgety and agitated and struggle to get to sleep, so I started reading with a book light instead, which I found much more relaxing. I eat as early as possible. It suits me, it gives me a better sleep, and it makes me have more energy the next day. I used to eat really late, like 9 o'clock or after, right before going to bed. So switching from that to eating 5 hours before bed seems insanely hard, but over time it just sort of happened. I joined a gym last year, and I thought it would make me feel more tired as I'd be working out or running, but it turns out it actually has the opposite effect. I'm never tired from it, I don't ache. In fact, I feel more tired, lethargic and achy if I'm sat on my backside all day and doing nothing. And I really look forward to going to the gym to feel more energized. On a final note, there are lots of micro changes you can make to give yourself more energy. You may have shrugged off some of mine, thinking you won't do that, or you think it's not possible. But trust me, having gone from where I was to where I am now, I could safely say that anything is possible. Change is easier than you think, and it happens in small increments. You can start that beneficial change right now. And if you want to find out more about how I switched over my bad eating habits, then you can check out this video next.